Good day, friends. Welcome to actually what is my first video. Thank you for being here. And of course, in case you're wondering why you're not seeing my face, is because I do not have the camera equipment yet for that. Quite frankly, the VGA camera on my laptop really sucks beyond words, so let's not even talk about it. Anyway, this was a Spanish game. It's a game I wanted to share with you because I had written a journal about it on my blog post. If you do want to go read that blog post, I'll leave a link down in the description to go to my blog and have a look at that. I hope to upload some nice content there in the few coming months, as well as great chess content, of course, interesting things, topics to discuss, everything chess basically. And I hope you enjoyed this mini recap of this game that I played. It was earlier this year, I believe, in July. Yes, it says the 11th of July, as you can tell here by the date on the screen. So anyway, let's get to it. I had the black pieces. My opponent played e4, e5. At the time, actually, I was a very low rated player. Now I'm around about 1800s. I think late 1800s since I've been playing one-day games. Anyway, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. Okay, now this is the Ruy Lopez, or also formerly known as the Spanish opening. Both names are really acceptable. So what is happening here is that white is putting pressure on the knight here on c6, threatening to take it with the knight. The knight to take the pawn on e5. But you will quickly see that that is not hanging, because if bishop takes, then pawn will take, and then if knight takes, queen d4 will fork both the knight and the pawn, and when knight goes back to f3, then the queen here can just simply take on d4 with a check on the king, and then basically getting the material back. So this is not really blundering a piece or anything like that. Should white maybe play moves like f4 or whatever, like, I mean, knight f6, not f4, excuse me, or h6. But this is not a blunder of a pawn basically, but this is the idea. But you shouldn't be afraid of that. And so I played a6, which is the classical line, also known as the Paul Morphy defense. And then bishop a4 main line, knight f6, putting pressure on the e4 pawn. White castles. I play bishop b7, rook e1, and then b5 now is very important in a timely move, because if, for example, black just castles and minds their own business, now the threat of bishop takes knight c6 actually works, and white gets to get away with the pawn, because the same line doesn't work when you take back and then now knight comes and captures the pawn on e5. Now upon queen d4, the knight just slides back, hitting the queen on d4, right? Because the queen is here on d4, hitting it, and you don't have time to capture the pawn, either with the knight or with the queen. And when the queen goes back, white can play like maybe d3 or just knight c3, sort of even not really playing in the true spirit of the Ruy Lopez, but just finishing development as normal. That's possible. So there's that. So that's why b5 here is the main line, main move, nothing fancy. It's part of theory. Bishop b3, and then short castles, right? And so here, this move order, which I have played, is one that leads to the martial attack, which I am a huge fan of, and I do play, by the way, and I did play in this game and many other Ruy Lopez games. I'll be doing recaps of that. You will see both wins, both losses. I love this opening for black because I'm an e5 player, and it's my go-to weapon against the Ruy Lopez. I've played against the exchange variation and the delayed exchange variation and the wall something variation with queen e2, but we'll cover that in a different separate videos, hopefully in the near future. For now, we will focus on this critical position, more like because this is like more like the tree or the tabia, because from here there's so many lines, and yeah, it just gets bizarre. So he plays c3. Now most people here, you might have even seen in the World Championship, will play something like d3 gms, that is, or h3. These are all called anti-martial lines, or a4. I think these are the few that I know of. yeah, there are all these anti-martial lines that white can play, which are these pawn moves. But my opponent decided to play in the true classical spirit, c3. Now, the martial attack is d5, which I played, but it's also important to note here that there's a line which I think is known as the Chigoran defense. I'm not quite sure, but you just put this pawn here on d6, and then you're opening up the bishop's scope all the way here to g4. White usually after that actually plays h3 to prevent bishop g4, at which point then you can kick out the bishop here with knight a5, and then after bishop to c2, this is also just theory, there's this move c5. But modern theory, after moves like d6, h3, you can even play in a funny, goofy way. Like really, you can play knight b8, right? Playing it back instead and rerouting it to d7 and putting this bishop here and delaying sort of like the advancement of the c pawn, and maybe break with that after black plays after white plays d4 d5 and try to break with the c6 move. It's also a way of playing. It depends really on what sort of rubs you the right way as a player, I guess. But yeah, I'm a d5 player. I'm a martial attack player. Like you give me an invitation to come fight, I won't think twice. I will accept happily, that is. So e takes theory as well. I won't spend much time here. Takes c6, this is the main line, and then of course d4, which is the main line. Now it's important to note here there are moves that are funny. White has the option of playing just rook e1. There's also this funny move d3 that I see being played recently, which doesn't make sense to me, but I guess I'm here to study it. But there are all these moves, and of course the one we have in the game, d4 is the main line. So still bishop d6. The scope of the bishop is now sort of enhanced. It was in a bit of a passive square here on e7. Now it's got more scope here on d6, which is good because it's staring at the king now, at white's king over here, right? And then it was a bit off here. So rook h5 apparently is a move. It was my first time encountering this move, but it's kind of played, but I knew something was a bit wrong because, what's it doing there? The rook usually goes back all the way to e1, like I had mentioned earlier on. So g6, which was the best move, I believe, by the engine that was given at the time. So g6, and here I think the engine was giving a line that white should take here on d, and then I would be forced to take, and then the rook sort of kind of like comes back and take here, or he just tries to kind of like run away or backwards some way, one way or the other. Because the thing is, if you have a rook on the side of the board like this and there aren't really pieces here, as you can see, there's no pieces, there's no knight here, this bishop is kind of silly there, white is underdeveloped, and you look at black's position, look at all these pieces, right? Look at all these pieces. These are ready for action. Rook e1, like black is about to just go and chop white's head off. That's the way you play in the martial attack. You give up a pawn to get the initiative, and then you try to basically play on that. And there are a lot of various endgames that are known as like the martial attack endgame that arises from that, but we won't be covering that today in this video. We'll probably, hopefully, be covering it very soon. Anyway, here he played the rook h6, which was also a step in the wrong direction. Rook e1, rook e8, I believe. Yes, this is what I played, rook e8. Because look, let's face it, also the idea of this move is that this bishop is now headed right here to f8, because now there's g6, and then let's say the rook wasn't there, just put it here and challenge the center, maybe with moves like c5, right? That's the idea, to sort of break this strong pawn chain here, and maybe even later, like moves like b4 are actually playable, to play against that queen side majority of whites. That is the idea. So I thought this was a smart move, and also he can't really move his queen out yet to squares like maybe f3, because he has bank rank problems basically right here on the e1 square, because then rook would just land there and then it's mate. So you can't really do that as well. So then knight bd2, which is a developing move, but then I think loses the rook on the spot because yeah, then just bishop f4 I played, and yeah, the rook was lost. Just takes. So he develops a piece, but he's down in exchange. Not quite because I'm also down on a pawn, remember. So bishop g5, right? That pins the knight to that, and then h3. I think, yeah, I was not supposed to take. Let me switch on the engine for a bit. Let's see. I never really like analyzing games with engines. Yeah, I think I was supposed to take. It made sense to take, yes. Take, because the this bishop doesn't really have any prospects, right? I mean, you look at all of this, where's it really going? It only has access to one diagonal. If I put it here and play c5, I mean, that's also slow, right? If I place the bishop here on b7. So actually I was supposed to take, which I did take. Oh, I actually did take. Oh, nice. Queen f3. And here I played a bizarre move. It was a blunder. Queen f6. Like, I hung a piece. Queen f6. As you can see the eval bar, it means I'm losing, and I am. To this simple tactic, bishop takes, removing the guard, right? And now if queen takes, then bishop takes instead of the pawn take. So I lost a piece, but I had sort of like a feeling my opponent would not deliver on this advantage because already he had played the opening wrong. So I actually played on. There was rook. I was basically just trying to make moves here, I remember, because there was not much going on. Yeah, but right here, I think, is it here? No. There was a way actually for him to just crush me with the bishop here and just do nothing, basically, and just wait. But he kind of lost the thread. Oh, he lost the thread right here. Because rook e1 actually was the best move, I think. Yeah, he lost that thread right here. As you can see, the eval bar is kind of like adjusting here a bit, even though white is still winning. I mean, it's far from being won. But here, I started playing like an engine. Rook e1 was the best move, right? And then king e2. Now, you will see that these pawns are sort of weak. They're not really comfortable the way they're sitting. And so here I played a really, really clever move. The truth is, I actually want to go to the right side as it's more vulnerable. My idea was rook right here and lift it right here and just cause problems because this pawn is weak, that pawn is weak. There's the bishop here that is trapped. I'm starting to practically get back into the game, right? And so, but you got to do it right because if I go immediately, immediately does not work. I think I had to play rook b1 first. Yes, because rook h1 doesn't really work, even though Stockfish shows the line that it does. But I felt like rook b1 was more practical, and which is what I played also, because upon king c2, then the king is further away from the pawns. That was the idea. So I actually did play rook b1, I believe. Yes, it was rook b1. I played rook b1. And my opponent obliged. I think he played rook c2. Yes, he did play rook c2. I mean king c2. Sorry. So now I can swing over to the side. Now you will notice here that he moved away from this square, which was closer to this square, and so forth. So he's further away from the center. But this won't really do much damage because at least by the time he tries to sort of like have an avalanche of pawns coming my way this way, these pawns will hold their own, sort of, in theory, I guess. So anyway, the game went rook h1, which was the best move, bishop h4, and then now this move, right? Not rook b. So you will notice here I can play the immediate rook b1. I mean rook g1, hitting the pawn. I keep making mistakes with the squares, my bad. However, it won't really be as clinical and as winning. And I think let's turn on the engine. Yeah, rook e1 is the top engine move, even though rook g1 also wins, right? But you can see in the first line it's there. And the point is now I'm going to take this with check, and if the king moves like forward here, that would be nice, moves here, This pawn will also be weak because now the check will happen right here on e2, and then now my rook has this incredible scope of the second rank, and I'm just gonna eat everybody, you know. So that's what happened. Rook e1, and as you can tell, when I played rook e1, the evil bar just went like to almost equal because it's like 0.4, which is like pretty much equal. In other words, let me switch that off. Then the game proceeded. Bishop d4, rook e1 check. Now it's 0-0, as you can tell by the evil bar. Take this way, c4, take check, right? Then I just started gobbling pawns. I think at some point the engine actually didn't want me to take, and as you can tell now I was winning, and I actually played this pretty clinically because these pieces are sort of discoordinated, so I can kind of like really harass his bishop, which I was doing with rook e1, and then now I gave the check. And then when the last pawn fell and the bishop was going to fall as well, there's no way he's going to stop these 2 pawns from marching down the board, right? These 2 pawns are just going to march down this board. And by that time, maybe I exchange one of these pawns for either one of these pawns, right? And then I can sack the rook for the bishop. And yeah, after taking this bishop, of course, and who's gonna guard against this? I mean, these are 2 pass pawns. This is winning, and yeah, I was stoked. So of course he played a good move. Bishop takes g check, g6 check, king takes, because now at least there's 1 pawn. Maybe it's kind of like reducing to drawing odds, but it's further from the truth. The rook a4 protects the pawn, also paves a nice clear pathway for this pawn. And also I hadn't advanced the pawn yet to f4, because then that would be in the way of the rook here. Then the rook would not be able to land on the other side right here. So a6, of course, then just march the pawn down the board. What can he do? He tries to do that. Sure, I just take it, because now I win the pawn race, because he has to spend an extra move, because this is practically 1 pawn. He has to spend an extra move taking here to clear the path for this pawn, but it's a little bit too. My pawn is way much faster. Queen also pinning, of course, and then yeah, I just played here, and he can't really move. Take there, check there. I'll just, and he resigned right here. So it was a very instructive game. Endgame wise, I like that rook maneuver. Right here on rook, I think it was rook e1, I believe. Where is it? I'm trying to, rook ac8, the exchanges, somewhere around here. Yes. So this is where, not there, right here, this is where the game really started turning around for me. Yeah, after this and this and that, yeah, it felt like I was in the driver's seat again, and the evil bar just really went to 0-0. So it was pretty fascinating, and this is the game I wanted to share. Again, please, if you like this commentary, if you like these videos, let me know down in the comment section. Do leave a like. Subscribe if you want to, but if you enjoy reading more blog posts, or you're more of a reader than a video person, I do write blog posts at thewayofthechessplayer.worldstopblogpost.com for now, but I'll soon hopefully get a domain and change that. I'll leave that also down in the description below. You can check that out. Until next time, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one, Kings and Queens. Cheers.